Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you guys my Super Heavy Samurai deck profile for July 2018. I've been wanting to bring you guys an update to this deck for quite some time now. I think it's been over a year at least since the last time I did give an update to this deck, and I've actually done a lot of deck profiles on it. It's one of my favorite decks just for the playstyle of using mostly monsters in the deck. And with the release of Sekka's Light, it definitely does help with just the draw consistency and overall, flow of the deck for sure. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, I run two Super Heavy Samurai Big Benkei. He's definitely one of your stronger monsters in the deck. For those of you that don't know, all the Super Heavy Samurais revolve around not having any spell and traps in your graveyard and also being in defense and attacking with their defense. And Big Benkei helps with a lot of those plays. When this card is normal or special summon, you can change its battle position, and Super Heavy Samurai monsters you control can attack while in face-up defense if they do apply their defense for damage calc. So I used to run three Big Benkei, but I would always find myself in the situation where, I would just have it stuck in my hand and not able to get it out, because the biggest way I would get out would either be, use Samurai Flutist, and if I don't get Flutist, it's just stuck there without anything to do. But two I find is good because you're also relying on synchro summons for a lot of your plays, for your bigger monsters, so you don't really need Big Benkei as much for your main play, but he's still good to have for that option since he is 3,500 defense, and he swings with that defense for his attack. And I also run three Super Heavy Samurai Flutist. With Flutist, you can basically tribute this card to special summon one Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Super Heavy Samurai you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation if you do destroy that card. You can only use each effect of Flutist once per turn. So along with the tribute to get out your bigger Super Heavy Samurai monsters, you also have that protection from the graveyard as well, which means you can keep your big monsters safe as long as Flutist is in the graveyard to use its second effect. And also I run three Super Heavy Samurai Magnet. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand, then change this card to defense. Monsters your opponent control cannot attack any monster except this one. So if you get two magnets on the field, you basically have your lock right there. But I love Super Heavy Samurai Magnet basically because it's just an easy special summon from the hand, so you can get out a tuner, and then you have your synchro summon ready to go right then and there. Same goes for Super Heavy Samurai Scales. With Scales, if your opponent controls two or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard except for Scales. Special summon it in defense. You can only use the effect of Scales once per turn. So with that special from the graveyard, you definitely have more options, and the Field Swarm comboed with Magnet and Scale just really helps for a lot of consistent plays on your end, especially for your big synchros, whether it be that, or if you want to go for a Link Summon or Exceed Summon. It's up to you really what you have in your hand and graveyard. And also three Super Heavy Samurai Giga Gloves. With this card, if this card is sent to the graveyard and you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can look at 5 cards on the top of your deck, then place them on the top of your deck in any order. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a Super Heavy Samurai monster, add it to your hand, and then the attacking opponent's monster becomes 0. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. But you're more than guaranteed by checking the top 5 cards with Giga Gloves to hit that Super Heavy Samurai card, and the 0 attack is a permanent one for your opponent's monsters as well, so then you'll be able to hit big next turn with one of your bigger monsters and hopefully stack the deck properly so you know what Super Heavy Samurai cards you need come next turn for your play. And I also run three Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer. Now this is a search card when it's sent to the graveyard for Super Heavy Samurai, so very good there. It just adds it to your hand from your deck, and you can equip this card basically to a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand or your side of the field, and when it attacks, it inflicts piercing. So if your opponent's playing defensively, Soul Piercer definitely does come in handy to get around those type of plays. And also two Soul Buster Gauntlet. I mostly run Soul Buster Gauntlet just for the double attack whenever your opponent swings. It doubles the defense of one of your Super Heavy Samurais. So whether you attack or it's being attacked, Soul Buster Gauntlet protects you and can literally be that game plan. Especially I've done plenty of times where I bumped Big Benkei up to 7,000 attack. Or not attack, obviously, defense. But, depending on what my opponent was swinging with, and if I've already dealt damage, Soul Buster Gauntlet definitely did come in handy in that situation. And also 3 Super Heavy Samurai Soulfire Suit. Now this is just a good hand trap, basically, for protection. You can target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card from your hand or your side of the field to that card. Its level becomes 5, and during either player's turn you can discard this card, target 1 defense position Super Heavy Samurai monster you control until the end of this turn. It loses 800 defense, but it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So like I said, good protection overall with this card. Since the defense isn't really that big a deal, since unless your opponent's attacking with something that has piercing, obviously, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So not really that big of a waste when it comes to just protecting your monster overall, especially if it's one of your big ones that you don't want to lose. And also 2 Super Heavy Samurai Big Waraji. If you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card was special summoned this way, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Super Heavy Samurai monsters. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute of a machine type monster. So Big Bang K is a machine type monster, so remember that. So easy tribute if you don't have Flutist as well with Big Waraji, or if you have the right tuners, it can also be a synchro summon. Just remember your limit for your special summon when you get this card out. And then for the tuners, I run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Trumpeteer. If you have no spell and traps in your graveyard, it's a big, important play for all your tuners in the deck. You can special summon this card from your hand. After this card is special summoned this way, you cannot special for the rest of the turn except Super Heavy Samurai monsters. If this card is tributed for the tribute of a Super Heavy Samurai monster and sent to the graveyard, and you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So that play is really meant to go for your big synchro play, which is Warlord Susanoo. So if you tribute it for Big Bang K and then get this card out, you use Trumpeteer and Big Bang K to go into your Susanoo. But like I said, you just need to have that set up, and Trumpeteer definitely does come in handy with that easy tuner to get it out for your Super Heavy Samurais. And I also run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. Now, Battle Ball is cool because it lets you use your opponent's monsters if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard. You target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level, send both it and this card from the field to the graveyard, then special summon from your extra deck 1 Super Heavy Samurai Synchro monster whose level equals the total original levels of those 2 monsters in the graveyard. And then you can only use the effect of Battle Ball once per turn. But we have so many different, synchro levels for Super Heavy Samurais that depending on what level your opponent has for their monsters, it's very easy just to match it up and then go for that play, basically. So remember that whenever you want to go for cards like Susanoo, which is a level 8 monster your opponent controls, level 4, which is Suchin Doji, the works. The more synchros we got, the better Battle Ball became, in my opinion. And lastly, for the tuners, 1 Super Heavy Samurai Fist. During your battle phase, if a Super Heavy Samurai monster destroyed an opponent's monster by this battle phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon 1 synchro monster using materials you control, including this card. And if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can target 1 Super Heavy Samurai synchro monster you control, reduce its level by 1. And if you do, special summon this card from your graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except for Super Heavy Samurai monsters. And you can only use each effect of Fist once per turn. It's just that good tech. You can search this card out, make use of its effect for the special summon, and just come in handy when you need it. Other than that, I really prefer Battle Ball and Trumpeteer over it, but still like to have it for those situations when you want to go into that multiple synchro summon. And then for the non-Super Heavy Samurai monsters, I run 3 Swift Scarecrow along with Soulfire Suit. Just having these in hand definitely protect you. If you just can't build a board, if your opponent wipes you out, this ending the battle phase come next turn and for you to make a comeback definitely does happen more often than you think. So I like running the 3 Swift Scarecrow for sure. And I also run 1 Giant Rat. Now, I might bump the numbers between Swift Scarecrow and Giant Rat. Giant Rat just helps for Super Heavy Samurai Big Bang K because you can quickly summon it from your deck to the field with this card when it's destroyed by battle. So it's a good bait for your opponent, especially just because once you get Big Bang K out, you can really go off with your plays. And you have a 3,500 attack monster using its defense. But Big Rat definitely does help in those situations. There have been deck profiles where I've taken it out, put it back in. But in the end, I really do like the card in the deck. And lastly, for the monsters, 2 Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Now, this card, way too good in the deck. It definitely does help because you tribute it to your opponent's side of the field, and then with Battle Ball, you have your Susanoo play right there, since this is a level 8 monster that you gave your opponent. So if they have a Link monster or an Exceed monster that you can't use, this card tributes that monster, and then you can use your Gamma Seal Sea Turtle monster for those synchro plays. And lastly, for the main deck, I run 3 Sekka's Light. Now this card, so good since you don't need to run other spell and traps in the deck. And the fact that if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you draw 2 cards. Also, for the rest of the duel, after you activate this card, you cannot activate spell or traps or effects except for Sekka's Light. You can banish this card from your graveyard to reveal 1 monster in your hand, shuffle it into the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Sekka's Light once per turn. Just way too good with Superheavy Samurais. You get the draw 2, you're not running other spell or traps. The shuffle back for monsters helps if you have a Superheavy Samurai, like one of the ornaments, and then you can't do anything with it. Hopefully you get a better draw, but the draw 2 plus that just helps so much with the deck. And then moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 Superheavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo. Now this card, you need Machine Type Tuner and then 1 or more non-tuner Superheavy Samurai monsters. If you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, Susanoo lets you take your opponent's spell and traps and set them on your side of the field. Now, so many times have I taken their Regeki from their graveyard and then just use it against them. Plus 3,800 defense, really good there. It can attack well in defense. If it does, apply defense for damage calc, and once per turn during either player's turn, you have that spell or trap steal. So way too good there. And also 2 Shutendoji. If you have no spell or traps in your graveyard with Shutendoji, you get to destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls when this card is synchro summon. So another good play to go off of with this card. So, and it can also attack while in defense. So remember that. And also 1 Superheavy Samurai Steam Train King. You need a Superheavy Samurai Tuner and 2 or more Superheavy Samurai monsters. This card can attack while in defense. If it does apply its defense for damage calc. And once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards and target that many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. And once per turn, you can banish all spell and traps from the graveyards. And if you do, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card banished. Now, I went up against spellbooks once with this deck and just banished all the spellbooks in their graveyard. It was insane. 4,800 defense as well. A very powerful synchro. Just kind of difficult to get out. I only have the 1 in here. But when you can, it's definitely worth it. And then I also run 1 Ninja Sarutobi. It's good just for the no spell and traps in graveyard, target spell and trap on the field, so it's got the pop effect, plus the defense attack. QB gains 900 defense for each special summon monster your opponent controls, and it can also attack in defense, so its numbers get up. Stealth can attack directly, so you have that benefit there. And then for the non-Superheavy Samurai Synchros, 1 Barkion and 1 Beast. You run plenty of Earth monsters plus your Earth tuners, so very easy to get out. Beast and Barkion as well. And then for the Exceed monsters, just Gear Gigan X, they're machines. The search helps for sure, especially when you have this card pointing to a Link monster. So you have this and then a Synchro option open, depending on what you search. And then for the Link monsters, 1 Beauregard Dragon and 1 Borreload Dragon. You have a lot of effect monsters in this deck, so it's very easy to get these 2 out for sure. And 1 Mrs. Radiant with all the Earths you're running. This card definitely does come in handy just for the arrows if you can't go for a Synchro Summon either with your Earth monsters you control. And 1 Decode Talker. I was thinking about Trisbana, but you can honestly swap both of those out depending on what you want for that situation. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, always taking recommendations for what you guys want to see for deck profiles. They definitely do help inspire me for what I want to do for my next video. So if you have any recommendations of what you want to do or what you want to see for the next one, definitely comment down below and I'll definitely take them into consideration. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.